Okay, on Cyrus Says, we've got a very invaluable guest, a young man with a lot of talent, which is good because normally there's no talent on this show whatsoever. However, before we get into that, I would even bring him in because he's a dog lover as well. I've got something I want to rant about. Yesterday, I went over to a neighbor's house. I'm outside in the suburbs of Maharashtra somewhere, and they had a very small dog, part Yorkshire Terrier and part squirrel or something, really small. And while trying to pat him, my lower back went completely. So here's my request. When your dog is so small that he's under knee height, for us dog lovers, can you at least provide a table when we come in so we can then play with the dog in a nice way, like he's a shepherd or, a Rottweiler or something a little larger, because it's a very small dog can destroy body parts of aging people in seconds. I'm still feeling the pain, but I hope Jehaan feels no pain while I introduce him. Jehaan, welcome to the show, which is called, I've written it down somewhere. Cyrus Says. And let me first warn you, this is a crap show, and I'm so sorry that this is all you could come on today. But I'm sure from here you can only go up. So look at it that way. Everything will be better from this point in your life. But let me introduce you. You're a extraordinary talent. I'm sure you feel a little awkward when I say it, but you are an extraordinary talent. You're a 13-year-old boy who's a master. You can see I'm fidgeting to find the research as usual. This is the kind of work we do here. But you're a fabulous musician, and that's the main thing that we're going to talk about. But I've also got pictures of you as a very young boy holding up passports and things like that. I can't quite tell because my eyes are bad.
Oh
And
God.
I think there's a picture of you with Kunal Vijayekar and Rayal Padamsi. Sorry?
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
that the passport one was me at the Harry Potter studio, the Warner
oh,
Brothers
that's
studio.
right. The Harry
Yeah.
Potter studio. Jan, please interrupt me because I just go on talking like a train whenever you want to.
Oh,
Fear nothing. And a Sabira Merchant and Dalit Tahil is quite a nice cast for 1970. And Farid Karim, yes, all very old, highly disposable. No, I'm kidding. Lovely people. And Rayal and Kunal. Kunal, of course, I can't stand that guy. I don't know why you're next to him. Horrible human being. But let's quickly talk about the
it
setting.
was for Paul Ramsey trophy.
That's right. That's right. Right. You should have just told me I have one extra one at home. I would have just given it to you. So let's begin at the point of the music, and then we'll go back and see your life. I know you're just 13 years old, but it's been a full life already. So we'll start with this video that's out first. Okay. You compose your own. Why? Tell us, what was the reason to do that? Or was it sheer boredom? Did a girl leave you? Normally, these are the
No,
prerequisites
no,
for
no.
musicians to go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
it started like the CEO and MD of Universal Music India and South Asia, Devraj Sanyal. So he's been sort of mentoring me for the past year, and he's been encouraging me to write my own songs, compose the tracks, and write lyrics and all of that. So what happened was we had done a chapter in school about refugees, and I had also watched a documentary about refugees, like leaving their families and stuff. And I started writing this song um, on the basis of that. It's called Letting You Go. Um, and also, I had seen like abroad sometimes there were these teenage girls pushing prams. And like I was younger then, so I didn't fully understand what that meant. But then as I grew older, I realized that there were quite a few teenage pregnancies. So then they were like, I read in articles in newspapers that sometimes they had to give up their children for adoption, and that was really hard for them because they were obviously very attached to their children. So I just started writing that song,
Yeah,
and
not
then
to be insensitive,
I
Jehan, but
mean,
I'm one of those kids. I was given up for adoption because I have nothing in common with my parents. That we There's no genetic link whatsoever. But what is really interesting here is you said refugees. Are you talking about like the Parsi refugees that you're thinking of, who many years ago were on their way to Germany, then took a wrong turn and reached Gujarat, where there was no alcohol and no meat, and three generations suffered and took names like Soli and Pesi, which are banned in public now. Was that part of the idea, or just refugees in general?
yes, of course. Yes, of course. It was definitely the Parsi refugees, no doubt.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, let's understand.
But I
I
mean,
think
general refugees were a small subpart.
well, yeah, fair enough. We are refugees in some sense. Of course, now it's a bit difficult to cling to that because there are not too many poor Parsis. There are a few, me included. But coming back to the idea, so you just felt a sense of empathy for refugees, for people who were like outcasts, who didn't have a place to go to, who had no
Yeah,
belonging to some place, and also
exactly. And even like they had to leave They had to leave their homes, they had to leave their loved ones. And like, for
Okay.
example, even if they didn't know if they'd see them again. Like, for example, putting down a pet because it's
Okay.
really old and they don't want the pet to suffer.
Hmm. So this is all the
And like, it's
different.
it's a really hard decision. All the different aspects pulled together. I wrote this song when I was 12, and then like I don't
It's a
know.
lot of. It's a lot of pain and
I wrote the
suffering to.
music and stuff, and then like
Yeah, I'm amazed at, at 12. I'm not saying that you can't be
sorry.
sensitive at 12, but there's a lot of pain and suffering in this kind of thought process. Uh, Empathy levels being great and all that, but just I'm just trying to wonder, was there a personal thing there of some kind? Is there? I mean, if you don't want to talk about, that's fine. I'm just
No,
asking.
no, no.
There is.
School puts us through. School puts us through this stuff.
Right. God, don't. We have that in common.
we
I don't
have
think the
we we
same.
had read that refugee. We had read that
Okay, so you.
refugee chapter on the Holocaust. So I mean,
Oh, okay. Now that's another world altogether. You're talking about concentration camps and horrible, horrible experiments on human beings, genocide in particular. Yeah, wow, that's
that
pretty heavy. So Jehan, the young Jehan, now I'm going to talk to you in third person because I'm setting this up for the other two people listening to the show, my mom and your mom. So the young Jehan basically came up with this idea where you had a lot of you were sensitive to the whole idea of people being lost and suffering, and in that the gamut of emotions that you've spoken about, whether it's to do with losing a pet or a loved one or whatever, and even teenage pregnancies or people who have to give away. So it's all about loss of some sort, which is quite
yeah,
amazing. Is this got
it
anything to do with lockdown also?
well, yeah, somewhat because I mean, I started writing all of my like music and lyrics and all during lockdown.
So lockdown
And
gave
like,
you the platform to
yeah,
go and do this, but the ideas were already there.
yeah,
Um,
and grandparents, like for example, in this situation, like
mhm,
really old grandparents, they don't know if they'll see their grandchildren again, right?
right,
Like because we don't know how long this lockdown and coronavirus stuff is gonna last.
right.
So it all
Well,
depends.
yeah. I've tried to speak to the Maharashtra government to end it by Tuesday of next week, but apparently they aren't very keen. Let's go to the Jehan story from the beginning now, and then we'll probably understand everything. Let's know a little bit more about you. So you're a student in a South Bombay school called Cathedral in John Connon, a school I visited frequently in my youth. First seven standards were great for me. Last three were horrible, but that's my story for another day. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into music and where all this came from.
So well, how I got into music is a little bit of a long story. So like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I was four,
I'll stop the podcast while you're talking. You just keep going.
sure.
Yeah.
When I was four, my teacher at Campion, I was in Campion before I went to Cathedral in the third. Um,
Campion,
yeah.
the enemy. You went. It's like India, Pakistan. You crossed the border from one to the other. My God, go on.
So basically, my singing teacher when I was four, he said that you should go to this place called the Meli Mehta Music Foundation to sing. And like he said I was very musical, so I had to go to the Meli Mehta Music Foundation where I met
Wow.
yeah, where
Can
I
I
met.
interrupt? So four that you have in common with Mozart, whose first composition is at four as well. So there you go. We've got one parallel with one of the greatest, if not the greatest. My dad
No,
wouldn't
no,
kill me if
no.
I
So
it's the
I
greatest.
didn't compose anything at the age of four. No.
But your voice, there was a little bit of young Pavarotti in your voice, and he saw it, and they sent you to Mehul. To Mehul, I'm calling him Meli Mehta. I apologize. Mehul is the Gujarati version of the same Parsi gentleman. Okay, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, so I met this incredible teacher. Her name was Ryle, and she was like superb. She was really the first one who sort of unlocked this music kind of journey for me. She sort of started. So I actually started Meli Mehta in choral, in like a choir kind of thing where
Mm-hmm.
like all the small.
Sorry, just the guys listening. It's not choir. They pronounce it wrong. It's a choir with a ch. It's like chows. But growing up, a lot of people used to say chows for chaos. It's really irritating. Ch throws a lot of people, especially the kind of listeners that we have on this podcast, John. Right. So it was choral training, which is group singing.
Yeah, basically, and like little kids, they all sat in a circle with the teacher, and then we just like sang. And then like I started taking a few individual lessons with her to develop my music theory, and that's when I started developing an interest for a piano, for the piano. And like my mom was sick from the time I was 4.5, so she wasn't able to take me to all these lessons and stuff. And so I wasn't able to play the piano and stuff. Like, and I started the piano finally at the age of 10, which is supposed to be a little late for
Yeah.
piano.
Considering you were in at 4 into the academy of sorts, for 6 years you didn't play the piano.
No, I didn't play the piano. I just sung. And like, so my grandmother used to take me to class every, I think, Thursday it was. Every Thursday, she used to take me to class. And then finally, I stopped going there. And then I started doing the piano. And simultaneously, I started going to the Sobo House of Music, um, which is,
Ah.
yeah, and where I'm at, it's a contemporary music academy,
So you went
sort
to
of.
both. You went to the Meli Mehta Foundation and you also went to this.
No, so I first went to the Melimeta Foundation and then I went to the Soho House of Music because I wanted
So
to
it's like
do.
a graduation. You went from there to there.
Well,
I'm asking you stupid questions. I'm just trying to trace your journey a little bit. Hopefully, young people watching the show will also understand how one becomes a musician if you have talent. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, so basically, I went from doing classical music to doing contemporary music.
Damn you, Jehan! How dare you? You let go of classical music for contemporary forms.
I never
That's like
let go of classical music ever. That still stays in the piano only.
really all right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So by
Yeah.
contemporary, what do you mean by contemporary exactly? Anyway, I hope it's not electronica
And
because that I can't stand.
no,
I'll have
electronic
to.
music, no, it's all type of modern music basically. Like I start like whichever songs, whichever new songs came out, like so the person who taught me, Stephen Sir, and all the other teachers over there, they did those kind of songs with us, like
No, are we looking at
pop,
folksy songs or pop? Yeah, 60s, 70s kind of
pop.
songs, or are you going into
No, I went
contemporary
into
music?
2016, 2017, that type of
Oh
stuff.
my God! Let me check with my daughter Maya. Ariana Grande is 2016, 2017. She refused to answer. Uh, she's from BIS. Oh. They're told not to answer strange men without shirts, and correctly so. Uh, by the way, I apologize for no shirt, but you understand it's very hot here. And I thought you wouldn't give a damn, right? If the old man sits around. I am wearing a towel. So it's not, I'm like a Shaolin monk without the kung fu or, any philosophy that I can sprout. But other than that, my daughter's telling me not to talk. It's a podcast. And Jehan, I'm sorry, Jehan, there's a cross conversation going on. It should never happen in a professional setup.
No
But
problem. No problem.
she's also 14, you're 13. This age is difficult for us parents to deal with you guys. Yeah. Not you. You've been really nice so far. It might change. All right. Sorry, I interrupted your whole thing about. So you moved to Sobo, and I, like an idiot, went on about contemporary music, which we finally figured out is actually from the last 2 or 3 years, and not the way I thought. Um, okay, but
Yeah.
my point is, we have, I think, I would say, if you don't mind, similar backgrounds. So I find it. You're raised with one kind of music completely at home, and then suddenly you're thrown into. I know with the peers and the friends you have modern music to listen to, but at least in our households growing up, we would only listen to a certain, from classical to folk to maybe the Beatles, Elvis, up to the 70s maybe, and after that nothing. And that's the way I am. I'm very square with music. I can't stand anything because of that upbringing. So I'm just wanting to know if you had a similar upbringing growing up, and then suddenly you're thrown into this Sobo place, and
I'm
all
not
these.
thrown into it. I actually kind of like wanted to do it
Oh, you're a
because
rebel.
not no because I like classical music. I like pop. I like rock. I like all different types of genres.
But how is
I
that
like
possible?
fusion.
What are you
It's,
saying?
yeah,
I,
because
I fight with my wife about this all the time, Jan. Please advise me. Because her whole thing, being an artist, is that she says she shouldn't disrespect food or paintings or music or all that. And I'm like, but you have to, because if you like something, you have to hate something as well. Like, I hate poha. I'm going to say it right here. I hate poha. Okay, I cannot. If they told me the only way you can stay in India is you eat poha, I'd leave. I just walk off. Because I think, because if you love, say, Bhelpuri and you hate poha, that balances out. So I don't understand why you have to like all forms of music, but
No,
if you're saying
because
so,
Freddie Mercury, for example, who is like till date one of my greatest
and
inspirations, he
probably
could
a grand uncle.
no.
Huh.
I mean, so but coincidentally, my grandfather's name is actually Farouk. So
My father's name is Farokh. Now, how close is that? Talk about karma. And he used to play all instruments, by the way.
wow.
Uh, right now, not in very good shape, but he did. Anyway, back to you. Back to you.
So like Freddie, he combined all different sorts of music. So he actually had a classical foundation, and he did all
Correct.
sorts of new types of music.
Yeah, that's fair
So
enough, but it didn't go into electronica, thank God, because I love the Queen sound. No, yeah. Okay, I won't bore you to death with my picky and choosy of music. So you went from the classical training foundation, which is great, and then you go into this sobo and you experience a more contemporary feel, etc.
yeah,
But by now you're playing instruments as well.
yeah. So I started coaching for piano with the legendary Professor Blossom Mendonça. She is like just fabulous. I mean, she's amazing. She really unlocks that whole journey of musical learning for you. So,
Will she take
like,
on a 49-year-old middle-aged man? Because I learned the piano when I was young, but I've forgotten now. I've learned quite a
yeah,
few,
she would for
you know.
sure.
But my
Yeah,
hands, my left fingers are longer than my right fingers. There was always a bit of an issue.
yeah. So, like, she,
You've ignored it. Go on, go on. You're
so
doing the right
like
thing.
three
Huh.
years, I went from being like a to being like a grade eight. So
Okay,
I
now
mean,
Jehan, you lost me. What is it? Ten, 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 ten.
is playing one note with one finger.
Oh, okay, all right.
And like I then playing complex
Ten,
pieces.
ten, ten, ten. Everybody watching the program, try it at home. Ten, 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 ten. Okay. So what you're saying is you weren't that fluid, and then because of Blossom, you started playing like Horowitz overnight.
Well, not no. I mean, I would say I'm well
Papa, don't be modest. You're here
decent.
because you're obviously a very talented boy. That's fine. You don't have to agree with it. I won't even make you talk about it. Let's just move on from there. So she started teaching you everything, and so. But how old were you? Still 10, right?
Yeah, I was still 10. And then what happened was at the age of 11, Stephen Sir, who was at the Soho House of Music, he said that I
Hmm.
should apply to the Juilliard Summer School.
Ah,
So the Juilliard Summer Program. So we applied, and I went in July 2019. Yeah, I went in July 2019 to the Juilliard Summer Program.
wow.
That was really a blast because it was kind of like meeting people who really understood stuff about music, like, and the way I felt, like, because we all felt the same way. So I was a music major, and I was a singing major and a music minor. So in singing we had choral recitation. Um, so and the choral recitation teacher, she was just fabulous. She was so fun and energetic, and she just knew how to get us into the music. And
Wow.
in
All
music
this, sorry, Jan, you're only 12 at this point. Huh?
I'm 11 actually.
11. Okay. 11, you're in Juilliard. You're actually working with probably the best teachers in the business,
Yeah.
especially for a modern career, I would think. And you're specializing in singing, singing in general, and you're still getting
Yeah,
an instrumental degree as well of sorts. Oh,
yeah, even choral as well, but like singing as well. So, and then in music minor, we basically had to form a band out of a few people. So there were like around like say 30 to 35 people in that group, and
what
out of
age
each
group? Are they all young or mixed up?
no. So mixed up from ranging from like 11 to 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, actually, not even 11, 9 to 18 years old. There were some people younger than me over there. So that was like really
There was a bit of
enjoyable.
a growing up experience for you, not just from an arts point of view and your profession, sort of honing your skills, but also dealing with foreigners, different people, new culture, new environment. Were you alone?
No, I mean like my parents were there for Juilliard. They came,
Right.
but I had a full day at Juilliard, and then I came back home in the evening. and it was in Geneva. So I was like, yes.
Can I just segue there for a second? I've been to Switzerland. My wife, who wears the pants in our relationship, or shirt as well, she drove us all across Switzerland. And though I like Switzerland, I couldn't stand the food. I found the food was very one-dimensional. I wasn't able to get. I really suffered.
I
And they
really
eat a lot
love
of horse, which scared
I
the hell
love
out of me.
I absolutely love the food. Like every morning I used to go to the
Oh, you're
shop.
breaking my heart.
I used to go to the train station and there was this little shop over there and they had freshly made mini pizzas. So I used to have that for breakfast every day. And then I used to have these heavenly vanilla cruffins. Not well, that's what they call in India. They're custard kind of cakes. They're filled with like vanilla creamy custard in the middle and it's super sweet and basically you just like dig in and so what I did was I basically had all the custard first and then I had the bread alone.
Wow. That sounds much better than my experience in Switzerland, where there were just five things on the menu. In fact, in Montreux, if I remember correctly, has that famous Freddie Mercury statue because we used
Yeah,
to
yeah.
frequent there. Did you see that?
No, I wasn't in
You didn't
Montreux. I
leave.
was in
Okay,
Geneva.
you didn't leave Geneva. All right, let's get back to the story. So then you got, what was this, 3 months? 3 months in the academy?
No. It was actually 2 weeks. So
Oh,
two
2 weeks.
weeks
Okay.
in Juilliard, and then it was quite intensive actually, but it was a lot of fun. So yeah, and then I came back, and then what happened was I did my first ever recording of a cover of Queen, My Melancholy Blues. Um,
Let
and
me let me check with my critic. Queen's My Melancholy Blues. Play. I'm organizing it as we speak. Go on. Sorry. And this was where?
this was back in India only, in Mumbai.
No, but where did you perform?
I didn't perform; it was in a studio.
Oh,
It
you
was
just
like
recorded
it was,
it.
it was a live recording in a studio,
Okay. All
one
right.
single day. So yeah,
Wow. One single take
yeah, I did it in one take
by choice, or it was like some
by
reason
choice.
for that?
By choice.
Excellent.
No.
Again, Mozart.
My Beatles
Again,
also told me to do it.
that's another Mozart. I don't know if you can hear my quartet barking in the background. There's music to only my ears. But that's also a Mozart moment because he never rewrote. So it's similar to doing a single take. It's just he wrote in one streams of consciousness, one shot. I'm a big fan of all that. I love artists who do that without looking, checking things. Apparently, Shakespeare was the same. You can never really prove it. There's no rewriting. It's always, the performance is once, with or without mistakes. It's just once. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. I like that. So that we've got two. Wow, that's a huge
So
burden
and then
in a sense.
that Queen cover, so miraculously somehow I still date don't know how, but Queen picked up that video
Yeah.
and they posted it on their YouTube like videos page and on their Facebook. So and that's how this all started, kind of.
Wow.
Because
This is
from there, Devraj Sanyal picked me up, and then he
right.
started mentoring me, and then I started writing songs, and then I wrote this song, and then
Before we get to Devraj, let's just talk about Queen for a second. Look at this. This is just an amazing. I won't say coincidence, but it's almost like karma. So they had a Parsi boy who was the front man who made them one of the greatest bands that ever lived. And then somewhere later, way later after they're a legendary band, of course, but they don't really perform. And then another Parsi boy turns up, thanks to the internet, and boom. And maybe you look like a young Freddie. Let me see your teeth, Jehaan.
no.
I'm just kidding, bro. Come on. Listen, if all the people remember Freddie Mercury's lovely front teeth, let me tell you that they've not understood the value of the man. Um, yeah. So no. So I mean, this is tickling. It should have tickled you pink.
Yeah,
Queen.
I was super happy, but I was also like, what's going on kind of thing.
Wow, that's just fantastic. Obviously, you must have loved the band.
Uh, I can't hear you. I can't hear anyone.
Yeah, Cyrus, I can't hear
Yeah,
you.
now I can hear you.
No, that's me, Jahan. Can you hear Cyrus? I can't hear Cyrus.
No, his voice is gone.
I can hear
Hello?
like small echoes, Cyrus. Can you just
Yeah.
talk again? Okay, no worries, no worries. Still can't hear anything. No, nothing. Can't hear. Can't hear.
Yeah. Your microphone volume may be a little low.
I think it just somehow got
No.
disconnected because it won't. The volume won't decrease randomly, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
It still shows that his audio is on though.
Yeah, it does. That's
It's
weird, right?
on.
Okay, now I think.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
can hear you.
perfect.
Yeah, back.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jehan.
No
I have
worries.
no
No.
idea what's happening. I pay my taxes. This is not my responsibility. I've done everything correctly except wear a shirt. I even voted for a government which has not been formed in the last 10 years. Let's get back. So we're talking about Queen. I mean, that's a real pat on the back, when something, I mean, that's a story that happens to very few people. One of the greatest bands gets into you, and then, you're on another level after that. So, one, Tickle Pink. Two, what are your favorite Queen songs?
Oh God. Um, Favorites?
Bohemian
Well,
Rhapsody.
My Melancholy Blues for sure. Yeah, I definitely like that. They keep changing from time to time. So I think Bohemian Rhapsody, yes. I like We Are the Champions. I like
Bad
another one.
Bottom Girls.
Well, no.
No need to smile, young man. Just a nice song.
Well,
It's
yeah,
okay. It's okay. You don't have to like it. What about Those Were the Days of My Life?
yeah, it's a beautiful song.
Yeah. All right. Before we go into a break, I just want to talk about Devraj Sanyal. Who do you know? He was with Brahma and he was a rock musician. And
Yeah,
his
yeah,
background, because he's from my generation growing up. In fact, they had a Parsi drummer with the same name, Cyrus, if I remember correctly, in the
yeah,
band. So they were quite the rage for a little while, and then this music, I think indie pop took over, and the rocking, the more like rock heavy metal sort of band that sort
yeah,
of went into the background. But I don't know, I can't remember the whole thing. But Devraj was very much a front. He's one of those Iron Maiden sort of performers who comes and sings with. I have strong memories of Devraj Sanyal. So yeah, now tell us about his relationship with you.
So after Fiend posted me, he sort of picked me up, and he sort of like just got to know us a little bit, and then he started mentoring us. He started mentoring me. Sorry, I mean he got to know us, and then he started mentoring me.
I don't blame you. That's the fault of Arnab Goswami, who speaks in third person and fourth person. So when you start saying us and all, it's normal. A whole generation is weaned on that guy, and it's fairly acceptable. Do not worry. So he again, all these are coincidences. That you had no
Yeah.
influence or friendships with anybody. Queen out of nowhere, just through the internet. Devraj out of nowhere, just got to know because a buzz happened, obviously. So the little buzz happened in the music world, and boom. So he picked it up, and then he said, "Wow, this kid's got talent," and he descended on you.
Well, yeah. So yeah.
Horrible phrase to use. I apologize. I pull that back. What I mean is, he saw you and said, "Okay, this guy's got something. This kid's got something." Okay,
Yeah, and then
but then when did the
he started pushing me to
sorry?
my stuff.
No, so when did the composing bug happen? So far we've seen that you're learning your craft, you're learning your art rather, and the composing bug, the bug. How does that start?
So that sort of starts like just a month or two before lockdown. And then once lockdown starts and I get a little bit more free time, it sort of starts to kick in. Because I had anyway been just playing rubbish on the piano. So I kept playing rubbish on the piano and one day decided I'll write like words to that rubbish and that. So I mean like
Now
and
when the
then
ball rolled,
gradually like I started to learn music production as well. Like side by side with online school. So yeah, it was quite a lot of fun.
there was no pressure on yourself. You just were experimenting and seeing what happened. And
Yeah.
then, but then suddenly getting this sense of sensitivity towards the world and this sense of loss. Again, I don't want to invade your private space. And then writing a really heavy sort of a song, which, for a 13-year-old sounds
Yeah.
like
I
suffering poet.
think, yeah, I think we sort of all suffer from separation anxiety to some extent. I mean, I know I do
I
because
do.
my mom was sick, right? And like sometimes I woke up in the night like not knowing where she was, and like because she was hospitalized and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, it was a little scary. But then as I became older, we also figured out what the problem was, and then she started getting much better. She is much better, touch wood, today. And well, yeah.
Wow,
So
separation anxiety. He's 13. Amazing. I let me tell you, it gets worse. At 13, you're feeling a more perhaps realistic sense of it. By 49, you'll feel what I feel, which is if they take away my drawers or my favorite underwear, I feel upset. Because you get close to things and stuff.
yeah.
Before we go to the break, this is a slightly personal conversation, which I hope you don't mind. You're 14, you're Parsi. The race is dying and dwindling. My daughter's had her Navjot. She's no, you're 13, she's 14, but that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Non-vegetarian household. Uh, how do I take this further, Jehan?
Well, I don't
Awkward moment number 68. Let's just enjoy it. I don't think my daughter could hear, so don't worry, you're fine. You're off the hook. All right, great. So this is the setup. Are you going to sing it all? I don't want to put pressure on
well,
you.
if you sort of like me to, I mean, I can play my song for you if you like.
Can you play it, and then we'll take a small break and bring Silvery in with the AMAs.
So
So this
I can
is,
share
yeah,
screen.
sorry. You're going to share the screen? Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll just do an Australian version of an announcer. Ladies and gentlemen, Jehan live in concert from Nepean Sea Road, Mumbai. Where is it exactly?
It's in Cup Parade.
Cuff Parade, Mumbai, just off Nepean Sea Road. Jehan in concert. Just ignore me. You'll have worse announcers on your journey forward.
Yeah. Give me a second. Yeah, I shall just. Do you want me to share the video with you?
No, let's just see you live because video we can play anyway. Just a bit, yeah. Just a bit. You don't have to do the whole thing.
Can you hear?
Yeah, perfectly well.
Woke up in the morning to find all my dreams crumbling. I tried to get out of my bed, but I seemed to be made of lead. I was scared, I was sad, but there was no choice to be had.
Jehan, you're on mute.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that was a
wow.
little bit of snippet.
Yeah, that's a lovely taste. And we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back. Just before we take the break, so this arrangement is also you?
Sorry.
The music arrangement is also by you?
So I sort of made a basic track and then it went for production in the US, where the producer sort of fleshed it out and added all those cool sound effects and stuff. And
Okay. Oh,
made
that's the
it.
modern world. Fair enough. But the first draft is you, and then they've put the bells and whistles the way they wanted to. We'll take a quick break. We have,
I wrote,
sorry,
composed, and sung it.
wrote, composed, sung, and also put it together, and then they've added a little bit to it. But let's create more. Don't worry. We can be a little creative with what we're saying. Jehan is with us. He's a prodigy. He's a musical talent, which you're going to hear lots from. He's been picked up by Queen, the surviving members, of course, who are, what is the word that you say, uptowed in Gujarati by his performance. And he's going to talk to us about life in school at the age of 13 as well when we come back. We'll be joined by Silvery after the break.
Yeah. Can I just
Oh,
say
yeah.
one more thing?
Yeah, you can. We're back after the break. Keep going.
Yeah.
Please do.
Go after the break.
No, we're on. We're on. Go on. I'm just waiting for Silvery to join us, but you can talk.
No, it's fine.
Say, Jehan, you were saying something. Please, this is your show. You say whatever you want. You can use bad language also. Just tell mom to look away.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, please say. You were saying something. I interrupted you. I keep interrupting you. Please say
No,
about
so
the.
I mean, I just want to say like I'm super grateful like to God for all of these opportunities, and like I don't know how they came, and I mean I'm just like so grateful, and because I never like imagined that this would like actually happen, and I mean I'm so grateful.
Well, as far as I know, God doesn't listen to the podcast. There's no feedback we're getting from there. But I have to tell you that I did make a call to Queen, and I did call Devraj, who's an old friend of mine. And so I don't want to take any credit, but I've done my bit, Jehan. I can't do any more now. I'll just sit back and enjoy the Jehan effect as you grow from strength to strength. In the meantime, we have Silvery, who
Yeah.
cannot play a single instrument except his organ, which
I've
probably is
tried
not
over
something we
my
should
life to
discuss.
play multiple though.
You have?
Yeah, I've tried the
You
guitar for
actually
2 months. I have tried. I have a
no self.
saxophone
Don't
at
tell me
home.
YouTube videos. Don't do.
No, no, no,
Did
no.
you get it?
I took classes for
A
2 months.
tutor?
2 months, yes,
Why do
correct.
you stop?
Man, I lazy, I guess. Just I don't know what to say. I also tried to learn the saxophone for about 2 weeks, which also did
Hmm.
not pan out well.
For a guy who couldn't master the guitar, you went straight for the sax, which is ouch.
Hey,
Oof.
nice.
Jian, is there something in that? I mean, you just have to be. I guess within a few days, or maybe in the first touch, a guy knows whether he's musical or not.
Well, I honestly don't know, but I mean, I guess you have to just like keep trying.
Stick with it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wasn't Silvery. Story is not yours. The moment the moment you got close to a piano, you knew you could sort of play it and whatever.
No, well, not really. I mean, I had to keep learning. So as I kept learning, I could keep playing. I
Nice.
mean,
But
it
your
became
passion must have
easier.
been much deeper as well. I think he just wanted to become a rock star and have the groupies and the ladies shouting his
No,
name. And unfortunately,
Always, of course. Yeah.
sorry?
I mean,
No,
like,
not Jehan. I'm talking about
oh,
Silvery.
okay,
Sorry on
yeah.
me. Yeah, yeah. No, he won't insult you, Shah Jahan. Don't worry. No,
Yeah, not
no,
on
no.
the program, Baba.
Yeah, yeah.
Afterwards.
Okay, shall
Jehan,
we
are
get
you
to the
cool?
AMAs?
Are you good to go with the AMAs? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the Ask Me Anything section. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Some fun AMAs. Varun Sandeshi asks, "Hey Cyrus and guest, guys, I've always this is related to what we were just talking about. Guys, I've always wanted to learn a musical instrument, but I always find it difficult to stick to it. Have you ever learned an instrument, Cyrus? And which instrument do you think is the easiest to learn and pick up and learn?"
So we were made to play the recorder when I was 6 years old. I'm trying to remember the whole sequence of my aunt Roshan used to teach piano right till 3-4 years back when she's basically wheelchair bound. But so we learned the piano. I could play number 21. Tang, tarang, tang, 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 tarang, tang, 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 tang. That was my favorite. I could play that a full bar of that as well, and with both hands, by the way, Jihan. Uh, I don't know if you learn the same things, na 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 na. So all that, and bring to me only with thine eyes. I could play that as well, which is quite a complicated. But now then we stopped and started swimming and crap like that, and now I can't play anything. I tried. I remember doing a play called Godspell, and there was a piano after a long time there while we were rehearsing. So I thought maybe it'll come back, but people would beg me to shut up. It's really painful. Silvery, you and me. Damn it.
Yeah, we are the failed musicians here. Yeah,
We are the alternate Beatles.
yeah.
Really. Uh,
Jahan, what about
Jehan,
you? Yeah.
would you like to
Uh,
answer it?
is there an instrument, Jahan, you think which is slightly more easier to pick up than other instruments? Maybe.
Or a starting instrument, perhaps?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the guitar may be a little bit easier to pick up.
What a slap on Silvery's face. Ouch.
Well, I
Oof.
can't even do the easy things. Yeah.
They gave you the simplest
Yeah, I
one.
know.
But also, I think for a guy or young male, not to be sexist, but the idea of having a guitar with the whole image thing and all, maybe that
Yeah.
also helps young guys get into it. I don't know.
Maybe
I
that's
used
why
to
it's
play
easier.
fake guitar.
It's easier to get a women after a guitar.
Oh, right, really.
Yeah.
He's only 13.
I don't know,
Wait, are they
drums may be
16?
Sorry.
easier.
Sorry.
Drums may be easier as well.
But Jan, don't you see guys in your class and all growing up, at least at more in college maybe for me, playing air guitar who can't play a note? But well, it's some
Yeah,
music
yeah.
playing in the background. They'll be like, "Ah, ah, ah," and they're not playing any chords or anything. The left hand is just in the air pulling a light bulb, and the right hand is doing its own thing. I find that, and then I ask them something. Hey, you could play guitar because some of them put a really good show on,
Yeah.
of air guitar and all that. And then no idea, never held a guitar in my life, just feeling it.
There are people
Ouch.
who are proud of their air
Right.
guitaring skills. Like, man, I air guitar the
Yeah,
best, dude. Yeah, I'm like, dude, anyone
especially
can do it. It's not a skill.
no, but Silvery sees he hasn't started drinking yet. He's still only 13. You give
Yeah,
him 5 years or whenever that starts, he'll be around guys who, after 2 or 3 drinks, start thinking they actually are with Air Supply or
that's true.
Iron
Yeah,
Maiden or whatever the hell
true.
groups of today whose names I don't know. I love those guys. As they get more drunk, they would just start playing their hearts out, and it's all. I mean, the guitar is this small. It's like here somewhere. Oh,
Yeah.
so much fun. Oh, Jian, lots of good
Okay.
stuff coming up in your life, mate. Just keep that phone recorder on, huh?
Okay.
Then next.
Next one comes in from Ashish Jadwani. He says, "Hi, Cyrus and guest again. A big fan of the show. Cyrus, if you had to interview one and only one member of the Beatles, who would it be and why?"
Very hard, but I would always go for John Lennon.
Always
Um,
John Lennon.
many reasons. I won't bore everybody, but I just think John was evolving all the time, and I love Paul McCartney also, and George and Ringo. But all said and done, I felt John would keep changing and was changing when he was shot as well, at just the age of 40. So who knows what
Were
he would
you a
have left
fan?
behind.
Were you ever a fan of their individual music also, like the independent music,
So
the Paul one?
John's individual music definitely,
Okay.
just like Starting Over, Jealous Guy, those kind of songs. Paul, not so much, but obviously as the Beatles, no question. Jehan, in my where I grew up, if you ever install the greatest group of all time, we get violent. So you cannot say any anti-Beatle things on this podcast, please. All right? And
Are
some
you a fan of
joker
the Beatles,
send
Jahan?
me a
Well, yeah, sort of.
Okay, fair enough. That's
under
fine.
pressure. To quote Queen,
It-
under pressure. All right.
uh,
Yeah.
okay. Next one comes in
Wait,
from.
wait, let him answer.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Who,
Sorry.
if not the Beatles, who's the one musician that you would interview? I mean, would it be Freddie?
Well,
Like you have a choice of anyone, living or dead. Who would you choose? That's a tough question, I know, but whatever comes to mind.
living or dead?
Yeah, living
Yep.
or dead. John is dead, for example.
Ah,
Some of the best interviews are with dead people.
well, well, I think that would be John Lennon, probably.
Okay, well.
Not Freddie.
Well, Freddie as well, but you said from the Beatles.
Okay, I'll go outside the Beatles for you because
Oh, okay, then Freddie, no
Freddie
contact, Freddie.
and no classical musician.
Well, no, no. I mean, as much as I love to play classical music, I wouldn't fancy interviewing one of those classical
Plus, your
musicians.
German isn't that good or Italian, so it'll be a
No, they were
problem.
often said to be a little mad in that as well.
Mozart definitely was absolutely. So urinate in public and things like this. Crazy guy, complete artist. Beethoven was deaf by the time you interview him, so it'll be fine. Handel, Haydn, I can't remember too much. Schubert, Tchaikovsky. Tchaikovsky didn't like the ladies, so that would be a problem. Let's move on. Next
Okay.
question.
Next one comes in from Nikita Mahajan. She says, "Hi, Cyrus and guest. I just gave my 12th boards and I'm still not sure of what to do next. How do I know whether whatever I choose now will still interest me in the next 5 or say 10 years down the line?"
Firstly, I love the phrase I just gave. It's only in India that we say it. I just gave my
I
exams.
just
I
gave
just,
my exams.
I don't know whether it translates from Hindi better. मैंने exam दिया. Well, how do you say it, Maya? Since you passed, she won't answer.
What do you
Jehan,
mean? It should be I wrote my exams or
I did my exams. I passed my exams. I finished my exams. I don't know, but we say all of us say this. I gave, and
okay.
this it's an Indian thing. You
Okay.
won't hear it anywhere in the English speaking world outside here, but here it's normal. In fact, lots of people will say it. Jehan, what would you say?
In English or in Hindi? Because in Hindi, I can't speak Hindi well at
That
all.
won't change. Generations later, Silvery, the Parsis have destroyed the Hindi language. हाँ? हाँ?
I
पीछे
just
से देता है
finished my
तुम
exams, I guess I'd say. I just finished my exams.
All right, but now I forgot the question because our
The question
petty
was
minds got into that first line and now I can't
okay.
remember.
The question was, I just gave my 12th boards and I'm still not sure of what to do next. How do I know of whether whatever I choose now will still interest me 5 or say 10 years down the line?
God, this is a fabulous question and so difficult to answer.
Yeah.
Jehan is veteran here. Let him take it first. But do you guys know? I mean, you're even younger than Nikita, but do you have any idea? If in your case, music is a very strong part. So one is thinking that will be your profession. But in most cases, when you finish 12, you don't really know what you want to do. Or even if you
Yeah,
do, it may change.
yeah, that's true. It may change.
What does Jehan want to do? Is it music, music,
Um,
music, or is there another?
yeah, I mean, I'm, well, I don't know. I guess, I guess I want to become like an artist, like singing stuff. And
So there's no question of any fallback plan like
I mean,
medicine
of
or
course there is.
architecture.
I love science and maths. They're my favorite subjects.
Wow. So he's already good at studies and he's artistic. What a waste, no? To have so much.
He said he likes
I
them.
think
He didn't say he was good.
no, he's
Just
good at them.
in all fairness.
No, nobody likes physics, bro. You
Okay,
gotta be
that's all
good at
right.
physics. You can't
I
say
thought you
I
said
really like looking at a
I like physics
physics.
much better.
I
Refraction is my
like
favorite thing in the whole world. I hope that's physics. I can't remember.
He's saying he likes physics.
I love maths and I love chemistry. I like physics. I
Oh
like
wow.
bio.
Oh wow. That's
Wow. Well, I hope you find the right girl. Okay, no,
Do
he's
you
got his music. Girls will never be a problem. Yeah.
Jahan, would you try for like some colleges like Juilliard or something like that? Because
He's
you are
already
super talented. Yeah.
he's already done that summer course, so it would be some brownie points, I presume.
Yeah, yeah, probably, but that's classical.
Okay,
So
that's
and
classical.
I'm moving towards rock and pop and contemporary music.
Ah, okay, okay.
What about Purdue? And so no university abroad teaches you non, or rather the whole gamut, holistic,
Berkeley does.
huh?
Berkeley does.
Berkeley, correct, Berkeley. Yeah. So, but this, what is the one you mentioned? The Sobo
Sobo
House of
House of
Music.
Music, it's basically like they train you for singing. Basically, it's not like proper like school or stuff, but
Okay.
they send you for exams and stuff, and they're really good. I mean, my vocal cords like are changing now because like I'm
Can you
going
hit the
through
high
that.
C?
Um, I, I think I can if I like scream a
Wow.
little bit.
Oof. At 13, if he hits the high C, there's no looking back. Yeah, I can hit the high C, but someone has to hold body parts. It's
When my
obscene.
voice
This
started
is not a
changing,
podcast.
like I thought I wouldn't be able to sing, but then Devraj uncle he sent me to this amazing vocal coach called Samantha Noella at the Scatitude Academy of Music, and she's just like top notch. I mean, she understands how your vocal cords work, and she can really train them to work in whichever situation. Like right now, my voice is going through that like super irritating phase where
Is
like
it?
sometimes I just
But it
like
hasn't cracked. Has it cracked?
it started cracking actually around a year ago.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be more male sounding now in the next year or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably you're going to get a deeper timbre to his voice. It'll all change.
Yeah.
Of course, my voice never cracked. I still sound like an 8-year-old girl, which is good on the phone because people who are lonely, then they have someone to talk to, is interesting.
Oh,
Let's get back to the question. Sorry, Silvery.
yeah. The question was, how do you know what? No, no, wait. Yeah, how do you know whether something you choose will be something you're interested in the next 5 10 years? No,
Yeah, but you can't answer that. Even
you
he
can't.
can't answer
Yeah,
that, and his path to music is very clear.
yeah.
But what is Jan? Can you answer that? How can you answer what you'll do at 19? Things may change in your life, and suddenly you may say, "I want to become a weightlifter." You know?
I have I have no idea.
I think
Yeah,
I think what you can do is choose a more generic course than a more specialization course,
yeah.
and then because most people like 90% of people, okay, maybe 80% of people end up doing something completely different anyway from what they
It's
studied.
it's like Vineet who we spoke to,
Yeah,
the entrepreneur. The left brain, right brain thing. Now, Jehan is a classic case of that. He's got the very creative brain and he's got the very scientific brain, which
yeah.
tells you all
I'm
along you've been
left-handed.
you're left-handed, but we've been
Oh
told that
wow.
you're either one or the other. Like they would say in my case that he's not good for academics but he's little creative, so whatever. So I think that's a wrong notion. A lot of people are mixed. Like he
Yeah,
clearly is
everyone
because
is mixed actually. And
yeah,
it doesn't depend on which side of your brain like functions more or whatever. I
But
mean,
but in your case, I'm saying there's a good chance that you're really good at science also because you're passionate about the sciences at this young age. Plus, he's obviously excellent at music. So just with the Vineet case, which is similar, in the sense that these guys, and there are plenty out there who have that option of both. So the education curriculum should allow you, like you said, Sylvie, to be flexible. We need to, since
True.
our podcast is award winning and makes differences in society as we speak, we must get somebody from the educational board on. Because I
Yeah.
don't know, in America, you have that option. So he could literally study music along with a business degree. It's possible. But he probably won't be able to do that here, as far as
yeah,
I can.
there kind of are universities that do give dual degrees. So I mean,
Where?
if you get dual degrees, like Europe and in the US, like
Yeah, so
Brown University, for example, they give dual degrees.
there you go. Which is good in a way because also you get away from one side and go to the other side, which I think is also therapeutic for people like yourself who have this dual mind, as against some people. We can't escape. Some of us can't escape because that's all we can do. Sometimes I just think it's a little boring to just do the same thing again and again. It's like marriage. You can't change your wife every weekend. I've tried. Oh. Silvery, I'm just giving him good advice from a middle-aged perspective, and Jehaan is just going to tell his mother never again after the podcast. Can we squeeze in one more? I want to ask him one
Yep.
question about dogs. Can I do that?
Yep. Sure.
Yeah.
While
Yep. Please go ahead.
so I was going through I've been in touch with your mom, Jehaan, and you're a huge dog lover. I'm always pushing the animal agenda. But unfortunately, because of her illness or something, is it allergy or what? She's not very comfortable
No,
having a
she
dog yet.
sometimes feels dizzy and she actually has chronic migraines and stuff. So I mean, it's a brain inflammatory disease.
So can I
So
recommend? Can I
yeah,
recommend because I don't know health, but I do know canines to some degree. Do not get a Dachshund or a Yorkshire Terrier who's very small, especially with someone who's feeling dizzy, because you'll trip over the dog. You need to get yourself a GSD or an Indie of a certain
yeah.
size. Okay, they're super intelligent. You don't have to do anything with a GSD. GSD is like a 7-year-old child. You don't have to go through the diapers and the feeding and the nursing and all that, and the puking and crapping all over the place, that rubbish things kids do and get away with it all the time. And stupid people say how cute, which I found really disgusting. Imagine if you were there at 6 or 7. That was your first week on Earth. So that's what the GSD gives you. He's so sharp. And honestly, I'm seriously telling you,
Yeah.
since you both your mom and you love dogs, I think you really should keep a dog. It keeps the family together.
Yeah, my dad also loves dogs.
Then go for it. GSD. Shall I find you a rescue dog? We try to find rescue indies, rescue GSDs. Will help you.
Well, maybe in a year or two.
Okay. He's not taking my offer. I'm most hurt. My sweat is pouring from my armpits as we speak. Yeah. All right. Whenever you're ready. But believe me, you won't regret it. I know mom has issues and concerns about her health, but trust me, you won't regret it. And I don't know what will happen. You'll disappear probably with your talent to some other country and study further in 3 or 4 or 5 years. And mom and dad will have that dog, which will keep everybody together. Just think about that. And remember, dogs are allowed in Dungarwadis. They're allowed in Agyaris. They're the only, non-Parsis aren't allowed. I've had fights with photographers and all. I've told you this story, right?
Yeah.
So we did one thing on New Year, Navroz, and we shot inside the Godrej Bagh, Agyari. And the poor, I think he was a Maharashtrian photographer, and he was trying to get in to shoot better because we wanted that opening. It's very grand, the Agyari from the front. But he wanted us to go deep so he could, whatever. And he came in. He stepped in, and the Dastoji screamed at him. Oh, what are you doing? You're not Parsi. Oh, get out, get out. And that fellow, what do you mean I'm not Parsi? No, get out. And then he said, आपके पास कुत्ता है अंदर. Ah, doggy is Parsi. You're not Parsi. So yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
that's all I wanted to say. I'm not going to force you, Jenny. Your mom will call and scream at me later. I don't want that. But can we squeeze in one more?
Yes, sure. This last one comes in from Girish Thapar. He says, what is the craziest professional dream you've ever wanted to achieve? And do you think you would reach there in your life?
Jehan, have you had a crazy professional dream?
Yeah,
Like, would you like to be in a rock concert or in a musical or people screaming your name? I think all of us wanted that at some point.
Not the screaming your name type. That's just a bit too much, I feel.
Well, that comes with the territory, Jehan. If you're famous, they're going to scream your name. And luckily, it's 2 syllables. not like bloody Antariksh.
Oh
That
God.
would take half an hour if you were a rock star. Can you imagine the Western tongue tripping on your name? I love him. I love
What's his name?
Antar.
I don't know his name, but I love him. Yeah.
So we gave you Silvery. Your rechristening of Silvery will make you a
Oh
household
God.
name. You become
Yeah.
really big as a comedian. Can you imagine? They all recall you fast. Otherwise, Kunal Kamran was going to take hours to get to. So
True.
Silvery, that's my gift to you. Jehaan, I have no gifts for you. You could give gifts to me from what I gather. But as we say bye to you, is there anything else you want to say about school? Because I hate school and I think there's just too much regimen there, and we should stop it as a concept. Now, of course, you're going live. Your mom said you're going back to school in a week or so,
No, no,
or
no,
is
no.
that on online?
No, that's online.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
online.
all right.
I really miss school, like honestly, because I miss being in physical school. I miss my
I know.
friends. I miss running through the corridors and running down the stairs and heaving as I climbed 3 floors up with a heavy bag.
Hey, in the middle school, I peed in the girls' toilet.
Oh, what?
You must do things like that. That's the only way you feel good about yourself when you're in your 40s, that you did silly things. Yeah. So I remember we did it in working hours also, proper working hours. And I think there was a girl inside the toilet, but she didn't say anything. Two of us went in. Oh, what fun. Jan's things to do, huh? Put it on your list. Win Grammy Award, work in Oscar winning film, and pee in toilet for females. Don't forget. Yeah. All right. This has been great, Jehaan. Thank you so much for being on the show. Let's
Thank
keep
you
in
so
touch
much.
if you don't mind. As you become a big star, don't ignore us.
No, of course not.
Ours is a
I
small
mean,
platform, but
I don't think I'm going to be a big star. So, I mean,
it's not in your hands. Look at your life. Your
I
life is
won't
just taking
ignore
its
you
own
anyway.
course. No, but you listen. Somebody saw you on the internet. Next thing you know, Queen gets in touch with you. Devraj gets in touch with you. Uh, this is a bit of a low for you coming on the podcast, but other than that, it's all been high, high, high.
No,
So I
no.
think I think your life is taking its own course. This is a big question in Shakespeare as well. I'm sure you'll study it at some point if you haven't already. Is man, in control of his own destiny, or is destiny in control of man? I think it's Brutus and Cassius in the same play give you both options.
Please.
Is the stars above that govern us, or what is the other line? Uh, I can't remember.
What you
It'll
said,
come to me.
yes.
So here's the question: what do you think, destiny or yourself?
I think it's both.
He's young. Youth is wasted on the youth, as Oscar Wilde said. All right. Cheers, Jehaan. You've been wonderful. I'm sorry if I pulled your leg and spoke too
Okay.
much
Thank
and
you so much.
said all the
I
wrong
had so
things,
much
but
fun on this podcast.
don't be silly. Your credit to not just Parsi community, but to India and to music. And I hope you do really well. I'm sure you will. And
Thank you
Silvery, I
so
have nothing nice to say to you.
much.
Hey, that's fine. I'm used to it.
Okay, bye, guys.
Thank
See
you
you. See you,
so much.
Silvery. See you, Jihan.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Hey,
Guys. Bye.